Okay, here we have this really beautifully decorated red, silver, and black cover for Howard Pyle's Men of Iron. It says Semper Fidelis here, which is Latin for, I believe, always faithful. And you can see there's some damage there on the cover. We've got this beautiful knight's helmet with plumes coming off either side. And then we've also got these two griffins on the left and right here, as well as some, looks like three silver griffins in the middle of this crest. And then at the middle, there's this hanging lamb skin. And then there's this castle at the base here. So just a really beautiful cover, and this instantly caught my eye when I saw it in a thrift store here. And on the spine, we've got this gilt lettering, which says the title, Men of Iron, with an eagle above it there, and then the author's name, Howard Pyle. So this is just sort of on the back of the book here, it's not decorated, it's just solid red, but you can see all of these stains. There's sort of like a gluey material there, which is probably what caused the damage on the cover there, I'm guessing, at some point. So let's open it up here. So this book, it's got a large number of illustrations in it from the author. So here's the title page, Men of Iron by Howard Pyle, author of The Wonder Clock, Pepper and Salt, The Rose of Paradise, etc. You can see it's illustrated, and there's also the publisher's little engraving there. And here's the frontispiece, which shows a knight who's fallen off of a horse here. It says he held tightly to the fallen man's horse. And all of these, as you can see, there's a little signature in the bottom right corner of these illustrations. They're by the author. And you can see the copyright is 1891, so this came out quite a long time ago. To my friend and critic J. Henry Harper is inscribed all that may be of worth in this volume, H.P. or Howard Pyle. And here's a list of all of the illustrations that he did for this book, each with a little description, including the frontispiece there. And here's the, looks like the introduction to the book. It says, Men of Iron. Introduction. The year 1400 opened with more than usual peacefulness in England. Only a few months before, Richard II, weak, wicked, and treacherous, had been dethroned, and Henry IV declared king in his stead. But it was only a seeming peacefulness, lasting but for a little while, for though King Henry proved himself a just and a merciful man, as justice and mercy went with the men of iron of those days, and though he did not care to shed blood needlessly, there were many noble families who had been benefited by King Richard during his reign, and who had lost somewhat of their power and prestige from the coming in of the new king. So it's just sort of setting the time and place, I suppose, for the activities of these knights. And this is sort of a coming-of-age story for a character named Miles, who has these experiences with knights. Oh, looks like the pages were stuck together at the top there. And it's just all sort of in that setting. So this is setting that up, it looks like. Oh, and here we can see the beginning of Chapter 1. Miles Falworth was but 8 years of age at that time, and it was only afterwards, and when he grew old enough to know more of the ins and outs of the matter, that he could remember by bits and pieces the things that afterwards happened. How one evening a knight came clattering into the courtyard upon a horse, red-nostrilled and smeared with the sweat and foam of a desperate ride, Sir John Dale, a dear friend of the blind lord. So, there's just a sort of adventurous story in here. We've got all these illustrations. We see the flight from Falworth Castle depicted here. And just the detail of these illustrations is great. So I'm just flipping through to give more chances to see these beautiful illustrations here. So here's another one. It says, Miles, as in a dream, kneeled and presented the letter. So you can see Miles on his knees there in the front. And we'll keep going here. And it's a good-sized book. There's I think, a little over 200 pages in here, I believe. So here's another illustration. It says, "When thou strikest that lower cut at the legs, recover thyself more quickly." And they have a dialogue that uses some old language in here, so you can see. Not exactly sure how to pronounce this, but you can see this section here. It says, "By Our Lady, thou art a cool blade, Miles," said Gascoigne, as they marched back to the armory again. "Never heard I one bespeak Sir James as thou hast done this day." So if you like sort of old-timey English adventure things, this would be great for you. It says, "At last I had the poor boy down" in this illustration. Alright, so we're just going to keep going here, looking at some more of these illustrations. Trying not to spoil too much of the story here. So it says, "Miles pushed the door farther open." Alright. Here's another one. It says, "In the Eyrie." And here's a bit. "But the old tower served another purpose than that of a spot in which to pass away a few idle hours, or in which to indulge the confidences of friendship. For it was there that Miles gathered a backing of strength for resistance against the tyranny of the bachelors, and it is for that more than more than for any other reason that it has been told how they found the place and of what they did there, feeling secure against interruption." Alright, and here's another illustration here, and you can see, again, you can see the signature from Howard Pyle on the left corner there, which says HP. And I believe there's a signature on every one of these illustrations. Some of them are vertical like this, or I guess horizontal, depending on how you think of this. So it says, "But tell me, Robin Ingoldsby, dost know aft more of this matter?" I don't know if I pronounced that right. Alright, and we're going to keep going here. "From the long, narrow, stone-paved armory court and connecting it with the inner buttery court ran a narrow arched passageway, in which was a picket gate, closed at night and locked from within. It was in this arched passageway that, according to little Robert Ingoldsby's report, the bachelors were lying in wait for Miles. Gascoigne's plan was that Miles should enter the court alone, the Knights of the Rose lying ambushed behind the angle of the armory building until the bachelors should show themselves." Alright, and here's a few more illustrations here. This one, we've got this serious fellow, and it says, "Belike thou sought to take this lad's life," said Sir James. Here's another illustration, another vertical one. It says, "Stories and jests recited by some strolling mummer or minstrel." You can see a performer there. And here's another illustration. This one showing two ladies here. Miles entertains the Lady Anne and the Lady Alice with his adventures. We have a little bit of a, I guess, a flirtatious dialogue here. "Then we shall eclip thee, Sir Miles, for thou art a soothly errant knight, and stay, every knight must have a lady to serve. How wouldst thou like my cousin Alice here for thy true lady?" "Aye," said Miles eagerly, "I would like it right well," and then he blushed fiery red at his boldness. But then she responds, "I want no errant knight to serve me," said the Lady Alice, blushing in answer. Alright, so we're getting pretty closer, or we're getting pretty close to the end here. This is another illustration. It says, "Miles found himself standing beside the bed." And you can see Miles there, sort of close to the center. There's another illustration. So there's just, there are a ton of illustrations in here. It says, "The Earl of Mackworth receives King Henry IV." Just makes you think about all the time that the author put into creating this book. since he did the writing, obviously, and then all of the illustrations as well. So we flipped through quite a few illustrations there. Here's one of the last ones, it looks like. It's labeled as The Challenge. Alright, so we're pretty close to the end. This is Men of Iron by Howard Pyle. Just this really beautiful, adventurous novel here about knights and sort of a coming-of-age story. Semper Fidelis on the cover there. Alright, well, if you liked the video, thanks for watching, and feel free to subscribe or leave a comment. Thank you so much. Bye.